Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 342 of the Drunk Nesters podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler, and join me with the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
Oh, man, Tyler. I'll tell you what. I am feeling so refreshed. Not just because of Extra Life finally coming and going, but also because of a bunch of new stuff, bunch of changes happening in the world of Colonel Gables. But, I digress. I'm doing alright, man. How are you doing?
I'm alright. It's about the same. Extra Life is come and gone. It's a wonderful feeling that it's over, but it's also a depressing feeling as well that it's over.
Yeah.
I went with you. I took a couple days off afterwards, and man, that the Extra Life hangover is a real thing. Something you just kind of you think you know how it's going to be the next day.
Oh.
And you prepare for it. Sunday's over. Sunday's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Monday's even not. You're still kind of fucked up,
dude.
But
I'll tell you what. It's like once that Extra Life was over, I slept for about. I didn't even sleep for like about 9 hours and stuff. Right? I went to that entire Sunday. That whole last week after Extra Life was gone and over, man, it was not a good week for me. It felt like I had a freaking hangover for the rest of the damn week.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm fairly happy with the results that I did for my time with Extra Life. I raised nearly about $200, which I'm fairly happy about. Mm-hmm. On top of that, it's like I had a chance to talk a bit to the actual Extra Life Twitch page, towards the end of my stream. Which, honestly, that fairly caught me by surprise, because I know I, alongside other people, were having issues with the Extra Life's site to begin with. Also, I've actually heard from, multiple people who were trying to donate to me that, basically, the website was not working as intended. So, for those of you not in the know and stuff, during our Extra Life stream, there was actually 2 DOS attacks that happened in the middle of us trying to go through and just stream a whole bunch of stuff and try to raise money and stuff. So, yeah, the website's pretty much fixed now, but at the same time, I mean, it was definitely a pain in the ass. It literally was around half my stream. Now, half the time I was raising money and tried to, help Seattle's Children's Hospital and stuff. The website was mostly down because of the DOS attacks and everything else. I mean, at one point I had checked, and basically there was not able to go through and donate things like I was supposed to. And even on top of that, there was some mixture of things, like the site being in Spanish and all this other crap.
Yeah.
But thankfully, Donor Drive was able to go through and fix a lot of the various issues that occurred. I will say, though, that it is definitely shitty that there are some people out there that want to try to jeopardize a children's charity drive. I mean, who the hell are you people? Seriously.
Yeah. There's a special place in hell for those people.
Exactly. Exactly the point. But the fact remains is, Tyler, you and I definitely had a great time going through and just raising money. I mean, hell, both of us ended up raising plenty of cash and stuff like that to help our respective, children's hospitals and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I agree. It's pretty fucked up what people are, of all things, to do an attack to. Why a children's charity? That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
You can't, who are you going to brag to about that? I get there's probably some there's some pride in I took down this website, but it's I took down a children's charity on the biggest day of the year for them.
Yeah.
Good job, dude.
Yeah.
Fucking, you're awesome.
And I'll tell you what, they were not successful in terms of deterring people from actually donating, as the actual Extra Life thing was over 10 million that they raised?
It's over 12.5 million now.
That's amazing. That's amazing. The combined efforts of everyone, we raised over $12 million in helping sick kids as part of Children's Miracle Network.
Yeah, it's
pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. It makes you wonder, where could we have been if we didn't have those issues? If everything worked like it was supposed to. Like, I mean, it happened back in. Remember, it happened back in 2014.
Yes, this
Like
did.
the website was down. Like at least with this one, you were able to get in and make donations.
Yep.
It just had issues with like processing them. Like they'd go through, but you wouldn't get like an email or anything like that saying that it went through. And you just check your bank account and it's like, oh, I got 3 charges for extra life donations, stuff like that.
Right. At one point, it's like my own mother, was trying to go through like the website and stuff and try to donate stuff to me. And basically, she kept having like issues as well, and she kept asking me questions throughout the day. It's like, has anybody donated to your thing yet? I'm like, oh, Mom, come on, I'm trying to get this stuff going. I don't know when that site's gonna be up. It's not my problem.
Yeah, yeah. Because I noticed Friday I was looking at the website and it was running really slow.
Yeah,
and I was having problems like loading the page. I didn't think much of it. I'm like, oh well, it's game day. Our game day is tomorrow. And this is like Friday afternoon. And I'm like, maybe, it's just a lot of traffic right now or something. And then, Saturday morning, you wake up and it's like you can't even get on the website. You're like, that was the first thing I thought of. And I was like, no, that ain't going to happen again. There's no way it's going to happen again. It's game day. Everybody's trying to get on at the same time. And then, see that happen. It's pretty fucking terrible. That's the thing that's going on.
And even though it was terrible that thing did happen and stuff, a lot of positivity did come out of the event where we were able to go forth and enjoy ourselves raising money. We were able to try out some new games and not so new games in my gone through of the total of 18 hours of streaming that I did.
Yeah.
And that's the craziest part. I did last the entire 24 hours gaming. Every couple hours I took about a half an hour break, and oh boy, what did I do? I had to check out my little times and stuff, but I actually wrote down on my little notes that I had on my phone of the exact amount of hours that I spent playing stuff. So, I played Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight for 6.5 hours.
Wow.
I played the Castlevania Symphony of the Night, the game that I started my extra live stream with, and I ended it with. That was 8.5 hours.
Wow.
Now, the one game that I was streaming, and it was towards the middle of the day, right? And so I was just looking at my games on my PS4. It's like, okay, what is it that I could just screw around for fun, just have a bit of a fun time? I went with How to Full Boyfriend.
I saw that.
The freaking pigeon simulator, and I played it for an hour and 15 minutes, right? But during my entire run of that game, I streamed myself voicing every single fucking pigeon.
Yeah, you did.
And oh my god, it's just the reactions I got from not only just you and your girlfriend, but also from like other people watching from that. It was actually a good highlight. Because, oh god, I really got into that shit.
Yeah, you did.
Here I was. I had maybe about 5-6 hours of sleep, and I'm just going through. I'm just being myself as I'm just like taking on the roles of these damn pigeons. And without even trying, I got the best ending. I had played through this game, and I kid you not, people, I played through this game twice before, and I never actually have gotten the actual full-on real ending of the game. And so, without even trying and with just screwing around and having fun with it, I actually managed to get it. Oh god. Oh god, that was so much fun, dude. It's like games like that, the oddball ones, like say if you're like How to Full Boyfriend, like an Untitled Goose Game, and like, oh god, Goat Simulator. All those games that I've ended up playing that are weird, nonchalant, just having a fucking blast in. People just enjoy watching others just go through those games, just for the absurdity of it all. But I'll tell you what, throughout my entire time, I did play another game during my extra life, and it was a new game that I had bought this year that I didn't have a chance to delve into because of how much Fire Emblem Three Houses I played. And that was Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Now, I played this game with the impression of, oh, you know what? This is basically probably going to be like how I went tried to play Bloodborne, where I played a couple hours of it, went through some bits of stuff, but I haven't been prone to go back to it. The same thing is definitely the case here at Sekiro, where it's not because of the difficulty, it's not because of the game being bad, it's more or less my mood to try to go through and tackle a challenging game like this. I'll tell you what, though, the controls in Sekiro, man, it's fluid. You can use your grappling hook to go through and travel, zipline and stuff. You can jump off of ledges and stuff and take out other samurai with little to no effort. But what's really the most difficult part about this game is learning the different parrying, parrying speed points and stuff, like the timing of parrying specific enemies. I came across one of the first major bosses inside this game during my couple hours playing it, and I could not get past him. And it's not because he was overwhelming me and stuff. It's because I kept on trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to climb on top of this dude? How am I going to try to avoid him? This big old dude that was bound in with wood and all this other stuff, that was in prison pretty much, being mocked by other samurai, goes through, breaks out of his thing, and the first thing he does is run towards me and starts to drop kick me. I'm like, oh, whoa, what the hell? I wasn't expecting a drop kick. Just the random wrestling moves from a big dude, and it's like, oh boy. So, of course, I tried the old-fashioned way, as dodging him and then cutting him. And then all of a sudden I notice and I realize that when I do that, I'm doing less damage. I'm doing less damage than when I would have actually had to, say, parrying him in actuality and then capitalize on the parrying with my own strikes. So there are portions of that game where you have to parry specific enemies in order to do significant damage to them. I learned that the hard way during my couple hours of playing that game. But I'll tell you what, that story is fucking cool. The aspect of not only just protecting this prince or something like that, and then battling this hugely overpowered samurai, right? You lose in the battle, but then you being resurrected because your spirit can't rest and stuff without having to protect this prince, this young prince. And so you come across this mechanism, sort of device and stuff for your wrist, that you go to this old merchant or something like that. That's pretty much the best way I can describe him and stuff, because he's basically a travel point you can go to. He works on your weapons and all sorts of various stuff. You have this device inside your wrist, right, that he can work on and do various mechanisms to where you can shoot things like certain shuriken you can use, and you can use bits of your grappling hook, and it improves every time you gain certain essences to level up. I will say this, throughout my time, I did not level up once. I kept dying so many times. This is basically not a Tyler game, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, this sounds terrible. I appreciate it, but it sounds awful.
Right. But what's most astonishing is, even though I'm dying a lot, and even though I'm finding out things tidbit by tidbit, it's still fun as hell to play. It is frustrating for some aspects of it, but it exactly feels like the type of difficulty difficulty range that you would play from an old school NES game, or from just old school arcade games. Only with a modern feel. You have the saves, you have the auto saves, you can go forth and just improve certain aspects of your weapons and this and that. But as far as the difficulty, it's definitely a retro style where you need to know pinpoint accuracy. You need to know the timing of specific enemies in order to do significant damage to them. And in that essence, stealth and everything else in that game is super, super big. So, yeah. In a nutshell, that was my Extra Life. That was just me playing 4 or 5 games that I didn't even know that I was going to be playing. I knew I wanted to start off with Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and I ended it with that. And, oh boy, my gosh. It definitely was an experience. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Yeah, you can tell the days really caught up with me.
Yeah.
But man, what was your gaming experience like during Extra Life, Tyler?
So I was kind of wanting to do sort of like what you were doing. Like I didn't want to do like the midnight thing. I'm like, that ain't gonna work for me.
Yeah,
Um,
understandable.
so I went to bed. I tried to go to bed fairly early that night. I think I went to bed at like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I got a solid. Courtney went out with some friends. So she came back had a few drinks, or 12, and so a little loud. So I woke up for a little while there, and went back to sleep. So I got good, like 5-6 hours, kind of like you, 5-6 hours of sleep, that night. So I got up about 6:30. I started gaming I got about 6. I ran up to the McDonald's right next to us here. So I ran up there, grabbed a couple coffees, and started gaming about 6:30. I started my Extra Life off like I do every year. I played a game of Madden. So it's just the way to go for me. Throughout the whole thing, I played about three games of Madden, but spaced them out a little bit. But I played a game of Madden that went well for me as usual. Then something I've been talking about forever now is Anthem. I've been saving that game since really about summertime. I'm like, I have all these games I gotta play. I gotta pick. I'm like, Anthem's a game where it's online. It's online only. I need a game I know I could sit down and I have time to play it.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about no side things going on. I could just sit down and don't have to worry about anything. And like Extra Life, perfect day for it. So I sat down and played that for about 3 hours. Well, I played for about 2 hours, and then like the game froze on me, or no, I got kicked. The servers or something went down. Anyways, I got kicked off the game because the lost connection to the internet. Not my internet. My internet was fine. I got kicked off. Anyways, got kicked off there. Had to go in, reboot back in, play another hour or so. So I think I played the game for about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more. And I just had to give up on that game. And you were in there for a good chunk of it,
Yep.
Gables, because we were talking most of that morning, and it just like I kept saying, it's like it's just Destiny but with less fun combat, and it's like the charm, the thing that always brought me back to Destiny. I've said it over and over again about Destiny is like the combat is really good. It's smooth.
Yeah.
It feels great. It's a lot of fun. That's what I think brings a lot of people back to Destiny is overall in the end the game the combat is well made and it's fun to play.
Right.
I mean, you can argue things you do in the game aren't fun, but at least the combat is really solid. And this game, it's just like, like I love the Mass Effect games, I love BioWare, but like the gameplay isn't all that great, especially the shooting aspect of it. It's not that great. Like the other stuff is pretty fun, but like, everybody plays Mass Effect because of like the combat is fine, it's good.
They play it because of the dialogue options, the RPG elements, and like the character development stuff. They don't really go through and like play it just for the shooting.
Yeah, and plus Mass Effect basically they copied the Gears of War system with the cover-based shooting.
Oh yeah.
And this doesn't have the cover-based part of it. It just has they took out the cover-based part and they made flying. I don't know. I played, like I said, I played for a few hours and I was just it's not clicking. It's not fun, and it's just like I have all these other games I want to play, and like this, I already realized like I'm not having fun with this game. So I was turning on Gables. I stopped playing it. I deleted it off my hard drive.
Yep.
You got a good laugh.
Yeah.
Out of that one.
Yeah, because I kind of figured that would happen.
Yeah, I just kind of kept holding out hope. I'm like, it can't be that bad. And I figured, it's been out. What? It came out in February or March. So you gotta think it's been.
It was
8
fairly
months.
early this year.
Yeah, so it's been 7-8 months that game's been out. I figured, okay, it's gotta be way better than what it was at launch, and I don't know. You can only polish turd so much, I guess. But
yeah, and quite honestly, I'm not surprised that you did end up giving up on the game. I know for the rumors and the rumor mills, there is something potentially going on where they may just try to give it like the Final Fantasy XIV treatment, to where they're probably going to be going in and revamping that whole game.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know. I don't think that's going to fix it. 'Cause I don't think that. I don't know. Like Destiny was still fun to play, but like both of us are not like the grinder type of players. Like we're gonna go back and get all the daily updates and all that stuff. Like you and me, like you're a little, you can get a lot more hardcore into a game than I can.
Right.
But like we're kind of the same way. We're like Destiny, we really like Destiny, but we just played it through the campaign, did a little bit of the side stuff.
Yes.
But that was that, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. It's like, oh, maybe I can still enjoy the campaign out of it, and it's just like, no, this is not fun.
Right. Basically, one of the honestly both like a thing that both you and I share and stuff. We don't want to do a lot of unnecessary grinding when we're not having fun. That's just the key thing. That's one of the reasons why we didn't really stick with Destiny 2 for all that long, besides like the campaign stuff, and why, for example, even though I did have fun playing a game like World of Warcraft, that leveling system and everything else all along my journey with Darland, the freaking like arms warrior, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I end up quitting that game. Because the leveling up enemies that are leveling up with me and me getting constantly killed and then try to do guild stuff, and it's like, nah, no, I'm not feeling it.
Yeah. And, it's like, I'm a few hours in this game, I've already done multiple missions where it's like, protect this thing from these wave of enemies multiple times. And it's like, okay, you guys are very much a one-trick pony.
And that's just the thing, It's like I tried playing that game with people, with even some bits of my friends, doing some dungeons, and then like doing some bit of like random random just quests and stuff with different people. But even so, I didn't even do like an actual raid, 12 people sort of things like that. It just wasn't my jam.
Yeah. So I don't know, Anthem. I don't know. It's just it's not a good game. I don't think. I agree. I agree with the reviews, for the most part. And like we were saying, this isn't our type of game, but we at least usually still find some enjoyment out of them. And I just didn't there.
Right.
After that, I jumped into Modern Warfare. I Redboxed that one. It's like $3 or $7 for 3 days for games now. Like I'm like, all right, that's cool. Because all I want to do is play through the campaign. I was asking my buddy Billy at work, and he's a big Call of Duty guy. I'm like, how long is that campaign? He's like, oh, you can knock it out like 4 or 5 hours. I looked online. It's kind of, everybody was saying 4 to 6 hours. It took me like 8 hours almost. So, everybody knows I'm terrible at games. I'm especially terrible at like Call of Duty games. And I played some online game. I played a few games online. Gables was listening to me curse a few times playing those games. Because it was at one point I was like 1-11. It was not going great. But I jumped in the campaign. That's all I want to do is play through the campaign, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it's kind of like the generic term everybody's doing, but it really is what it is. It's back to basics. It's like if you want something that's closer to like what the Modern Warfare games were before, like this is what that is. They definitely it taps into that really well. It's like an updated version of what those games you think would be in 2019. And I'm someone that really enjoyed like Advanced Warfare and Infinite Warfare, like probably two of the more hated games in the franchise of like hardcore Call of Duty fans are like, those are probably 2 of my 3 favorites, with Black Ops being probably 1 or 2 in that category. But yeah, I don't know. I really, really liked it. I thought it was fun. I died a lot. I was terrible. Courtney ended up waking up about 11:30 or so, and she just sat on the couch with me pretty much the rest of the time, and kind of played around her phone or watched me play games. And every time I died, she'd like to make fun of me for it, which was often. But she was a good supporter. It was nice having her around. Because like we talked about before, is like we always like got on a party chat and played with people, and pretty much after like the 6-hour mark, I was just Courtney and I was gaming, with Courtney on the couch next to me the rest of the time. So in a weird way, it was like almost easier this year, like because they were in person with me.
Yep.
So I had someone like interact with. I wasn't just talking to people on the headset. They can't see you. They don't know. They can't see your body language, what you're doing, how you're feeling.
Right.
And it's like, there's a few times there I was like, middle of the night, I was starting to nod a little bit while playing games. And she's like, Tyler. I'm like, what? I'm cool. And so having her around was a big help, because I don't know if I would have made it this year without without her jumping, kind of giving me some jump scares. And also, she made a few coffee runs for me, which was great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, she came in handy there. She was very clutch with the. She brought me back 3 coffees from McDonald's.
Oh, Jesus! No,
yeah,
not just any coffees, coffee from McDonald's.
Yeah, so I had like 5 McDonald's coffees that day and like 2 energy drinks. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that caffeine would give me a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, and what sucks though is like I talked about going like tips and tricks like don't do caffeine overload. I did the caffeine overload because when it was over, I could not go to sleep. I was like exhausted, but I couldn't sleep, which is the worst. Which is one of the worst feelings in the world, is when you're just completely exhausted, but you're like wide awake at the same time, or your mind is wide awake.
I know. I did like about. I had my 1 coffee during the whole stint and stuff. I had the freaking iced coffee, that Americano stuff that I usually would have. But that was the only coffee I did have. But later on, I did eat a bunch of fucking junk food. As like we freaking ordered like some bit of pizza and like freaking chicken salads and all this other shit. And then it's like I get through, I eat my food, I'm going through, I'm streaming and stuff, and towards the middle of the damn night, it's like, oh, you know what? Even after I'm ending and stuff, I'm probably not gonna be able to go to sleep right away because my damn stomach.
Yeah. I can't remember what I ended up eating, but we ended up, like I said, I ate light. I didn't eat too much crazy stuff. I stuck to my tips there on that. Ate some apples and bananas, stuff to give me at least something natural. But anyways, I ended up beating Modern Warfare. I, like I said, really enjoyed it. Definitely one of the more fun gaming experiences of the year for me. What's weird though is funny. It's funny because like Extra Life, in a lot of ways, like there's some cool moments in there, but I think because you can play games so fast, or you play so many games, like it's kind of a blur at the same time. And maybe it's also the exhaustion part of it, because it's like I'm thinking like I'm looking back at I'm happy I wrote down some stuff and like took some notes for myself as well, because I feel like a lot of this stuff I'm like I don't remember doing that at all, or like I vaguely remember this. But it's a good idea if like you're gonna like kind of recap it, like write that shit down, because like a lot of it's kind of a blur in your head. Like did that actually happen? It's like when you have those dreams, you're like, did that really happen?
Yeah, exactly.
That's Extra Life in a nutshell. But yeah, I really liked it a lot. If you're one that wants to go back and kind of misses that, definitely check it out. I enjoyed it more. I thought I would enjoy it, but I enjoyed it more than I thought I did. It definitely, like, I didn't think this would be like, oh, this would be like fucking amazing, like Modern Warfare 1 was or 2 was, but I was like, I feel like this could be like an upper tier Call of Duty campaign, and it definitely is in there. It's like, it's not Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, or Black Ops to me, but it's definitely that notch below. In the last like 5-6 years, it's definitely one of the better, like one of the best ones to me. But if you're someone that that's jonesing for like a Call of Duty S shooter, like this is a good one. I like that a lot. After that, I think I played another game of Madden, like as I do, and then I jumped in and played some Days Gone as well. Since I figured, since Anthem wasn't gonna be the game, I thought Anthem was gonna be the game that like was my Extra Life.
Right.
And it ended up being a couple other games. Modern Warfare was one of them that took up about a third of my Extra Life. Then Luigi Mansion 3 took up probably another third of the Extra Life. But since Anthem didn't take over like I thought it would, I'm like, I'll check out Days Gone. Jump into that, figure that out. And I played it for a little over 2 hours, and like it is what I thought it was. I haven't deleted off my hard drive, but I don't think I'm not looking to jump back into this one, because I don't know, like the game seems fine. Like I don't have like like I said, this game is a game that could take you 20, 30, 40, 50 hours to beat if you want to.
Right.
But it just has a lot of the aspects of games I don't like, with like the survival parts of it, where it's like I don't mind like horror games where it's like Dead Space or Last of Us or Evil Within, where like you don't have X amount of like ammo or health or whatever supplies, but it's like it's more of a it's a straight path, like this game is open world. You gotta go find stuff, and you got you have to like gas. You have to actually find gas. I don't know. It just, I was playing it, I was like, this is way too much. There's too much management of it. It's kind of got that Fallout effect almost to a way where it's like Fallout, you have to deal with like you carrying too much shit, and this one like you don't have enough shit all the time, and it's like I don't know. It was a big turnoff as I was playing the game, but I don't know. I felt like I don't have, like I said, I don't have any major issue with it. I think it maybe it kind of it's just one of those things where it's like this is not my type of game,
right?
Like. And the reviews out there aren't great. They're like a lot of 7s and stuff, but maybe a couple 8s in there, some 6s.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's perfect for this game. Like where it's like this is a perfect middle of the pack, much like Rage 2 was. Like you might really like Rage 2. There's a lot like Rage 2. Like there's some good stuff in there, but there's a lot of stuff that's not great. And I feel like this is that game too. Like there's some good stuff in this game. Like I enjoyed the characters were mildly interesting. Like the combat's fun. It's pretty good. The sneaking around works really well, but I just did not like the open world aspect of it, and then also the survival aspect of it, where you have to the management of all your shit. Like I don't want to do that. So I don't know. I played it for a little over 2 hours, and I'm like, it's not clicking for me right now.
Right.
Maybe I'll come back to it later, but I really don't think I will. I'll be honest with you guys. And then I already mentioned it. I jumped into Luigi Mansion 3, and I played through. I actually ended up playing through about half of that game.
Really?
Throughout Extra Life. Yeah. So I guess to kind of jump into like this is kind of what we've been playing / Extra Life recap. So I ended up, I played it for like an hour or so in the middle there. I think before I started playing Days Gone, I played for about an hour or so, right. And I took you don't play the whole 24 hours. It's not literal 24 hours. And that's something like a lot of people like don't understand completely. Or it's like, yeah, we're playing games 24 straight hours, but it's not literally 24. Like there's breaks in there. Like we took the dogs for a nice little walk, which was nice to get out of the house and do something of physical nature. And then, took a nice little shower, took a break, eat some food, stuff like that. So like I probably in the end played 22 hours or so, which is more than I think I usually play. I don't think I took as many breaks as I usually do. Usually I take a lot of like little breaks, and this one I took a couple like longer breaks, which I needed. But I jumped, I went back in and like around midnight or so. So because it was daylight saving time, so I started at 6:30 and ended at 5:30 since we go back an hour there. And I was telling Courtney, I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now. She's like, I'm going to stay with you the whole time. I'm like, I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you right now. When that clock goes back an hour, it's gonna be torture. It's gonna ruin you. And she's like, oh, I already know it's coming. I'll be all right. That hour went back, and she's like, oh no. So like she felt it too. Like she like you don't like it's coming, and like someone like me and you that have done it 7-8 times, like it's just like it's coming, but you're not ready for it ever. And she ended up actually so I stopped at 5:30. She ended up going to bed about 4:15 or so. So she was a trooper. She was sitting there watching her phone, watching me play, talking to me, chit chatting with me, and I kept looking over at her, and she was falling asleep. And I'm like, and she's like, I looked over and she's like, I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, okay, that's fine. And but anyways, I started playing this probably 9 o'clock or so. Jumped into it, played it. In this game, like you play it. It's a hotel, and like the ghosts take over. And I think there's like 17 floors, and I got to like floor 8 or 9 by the end of this. But yeah, I don't know. I really like this game. I thought it was really good. It's not like, is it the best Switch game ever? No, but it's not in the class of to me Mario Rabbids or Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey.
But would you say it's like one of the best games of the year?
Yeah, I would. I don't know, because I feel like that's not saying a whole lot this year. But I definitely feel like it's in it'd be probably in my top 5 if I had to put. I haven't looked at my list at all. I haven't started even attempting to make a list yet. But I feel comfortable saying it's top 5. Just off the top of my head.
I know for a fact, if not for me having to upgrade a whole bunch of stuff, that would definitely be one of the games I would have been playing over the past month and a half. Because I do have a lot of interest in wanting to play Luigi's Mansion 3. I've heard people rave about that game, especially through some of the people I follow online on Twitter, where it's like taking on their plane flights, start playing a bit of the game, and all of a sudden they're just enjoying the hell out of it because of how quirky some bits of the puzzle element stuff with Luigi and Gooigi and all the other stuff. It just seems like a very fun kind of return to form for that franchise, where it was still fun, even with Luigi's Mansion 2, but I never really got around to finishing that game as I did the original, because I thought it was kind of a little bit too, like, off-kilter to what it could have been, but at the same time and stuff, that's fantastic, though. You've thoroughly enjoyed Luigi's Mansion 3, and, man, I just can't wait to try that game when I eventually do.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's not super hard. You're not going to be like overly challenged. The puzzles can at some point be difficult. I think, like, not difficult, but they take a minute sometimes to figure out the solution too. Like, they do a good job of balancing that out, because it's like this is a game ultimately meant for people of all ages. Excuse me, but yeah, I don't know. I really it was a perfect game for me to play for Extra Life. You know, like. We talk about you want that one game that you can just jump into. This was a perfect game. Came out on the Thursday before Extra Life, so I didn't even boot it. I waited to play that game. I'm like, I'll probably jump into this and stuff like that sometime during Extra Life. But like like I said, Anthem and Days Gone not clicking like I was hoping to. Beat Modern Warfare. Like this was to me the main game of my my Extra Life. So yeah, I mean I don't know. It was good. It was really good. The Luigi stuff I thought I would hate, like, because like once I thought he was just like a second player, then I found out you actually have to like he's like actually one of the main mechanics of the game is the second, like, Luigi, who's like this goo that can like he can go through like vents and everything like that, and he's like one of the main people. Like almost every puzzle you do, like he's a part of it. It's like the whole game is like built around this mechanic, and I started hearing that like reviews and reading about them, like, this sounds like something I'm not gonna like. And actually, I'm really liking it. It was not like, is it like my favorite mechanic? No, but I thought like it worked really well for what it was. Like something like this normally I don't like, but this like I did not dislike. I thought it wasn't a detriment to the game. It was actually it worked out pretty well in the end. They did a good job with him. Yeah, I thought it was definitely a lot of fun. Like it's a fairly easy game. I don't know how to phrase this. So I had 3 times in the game where like I had a game over kind of scenario, because like you have lives, but 2 of them were like you have to like beat this part in a certain amount of time, and I didn't beat it in X amount of time. So like, and once I died, actually my health hit 0. I ended up beating the game in about 12 hours. So
it's not bad.
No, and I've heard people like you can probably beat it in 8-10 hours. There's my biggest gripe with this game is it's like. I talked about a lot, especially at the beginning of like when we started doing the show, over 6 years ago, was like Lego games. I love Lego games, but I can't play them because of my OCD with like I have to collect every brick and every Lego, and it's like even though I have no interest in buying the unlockables, or I don't use the money, I don't use it. And this game is the same thing where there's money everywhere, but I don't need it and it's unnecessary. Like so you can buy 3 things with money in that game. You can buy lives, which I think 10 is the max, and I almost always had 10. You can buy, there's like booze that are hidden throughout the hotel, and you can buy things to help you find them.
Okay.
And there's another one you could buy. There's like like special gems that are like they don't do anything for you. They're just like collectibles, and you can buy these to help you find these gems. So all of it's for like you collect all this money to help you find more collectibles is all it is. And it's like I like, so lives are 1,000 a piece, and I ended up beating the game with almost 50,000 around. And like I said, the majority of the game I had maxed out the amount of extra lives. At least I assume so. The amount of extra lives you can have, because I never went above like 9 or 10. But like that was my like one thing. Was like I kept telling myself, like, Tyler, why are you doing this? Like I'm sitting there like grabbing everything, shaking everything, blowing the thing, the vacuum and everything, trying to find money. And I'm like, you have 40-something thousand fucking dollars here. You're never gonna spend it. You couldn't. You have no reason to spend it on anything. Like why are you still doing this? Like
the collector's mentality. Oh, I'm gonna find something good if I go through and do this.
Yeah, I couldn't help myself. I had to find everything. It was so stupid. I'm like, I don't care. Like
That's kind of like me playing a Castlevania game and always destroying the candles and collecting hearts, even if I got maximum.
Yeah, like it was completely. That was my biggest pet peeve for this game. I probably could have beat that game literally 3 hours earlier if I didn't do all like as much as I did, because it's just like I don't care, but I couldn't help but like I had to do it. But yeah, in the end, like the boss fight, like I thought like it may overstay its welcome a little bit, because like some of the even some, so basically what it is, like you take an elevator to the floors, but they take all the buttons disappear, so you have to beat the boss on level 1, and he has the button to level 2, and you beat him, you take the button to go to the next level, so on and so forth. And like a few of the levels, a few of the floors you go onto, there's no like, because almost every floor you go on, like there's a bunch of like stuff you got to do to get to the final boss. You know, there's a maze, there's like puzzles you got to solve, things like that. There's a whole process, and a few of them, like you literally just fight the boss, you beat the boss, and you go on to the next floor. And like it was almost like we have this really cool idea for this boss fight, but we don't have anything to do with, like, we don't have any ideas like how to make a floor out of this. Like, so we're just gonna have a boss fight, and not say it's a terrible thing, because I thought like it's some of the, like a lot of the boss fights in that game are actually like a lot of fun. Like there's one like a medieval one that's a lot of fun. There's one on like a pirate's ship that's a lot of fun. Like there's some really great, but like the boss, like I don't know, like Nintendo's really good at making boss fights. That's like they're probably what they're best at. When it comes to these type of games, is like I don't think this is a Nintendo game. It's like Next Level or something, but yeah, the boss fights in this game were excellent, and that was definitely the peak enjoyment for me in this game. Was all I thought the final boss was pretty lame. I'm not gonna spoil anything for this game, but I did not care at all for the final boss, or like the boss before the final boss. Like they were, but I thought the rest of it was 80% of that time was really enjoyable. There's just like the charm of Nintendo is like nobody else. So yeah, ended up being that. The funny thing was though, like the last like 45 minutes of my Extra Life, I think I progressed like 5 minutes in that game, because I got to like a puzzle, and it's the simplest fucking thing to do, and I just could not figure it out. Like I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I have no idea. And it was like something to do with the rope. I had to suction in the rope and then like pull something. And for the life of me, could not figure it out for at least a half an hour. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm completely stumped. I didn't want to look at YouTube. I didn't look at anything like that. I was like, I gotta figure this out. And I just couldn't. And finally, like, I don't even think I figured it out. I think I did it by accident. I'm like, oh. All I had to do was like move this like 3 feet to the left, and I could have moved on to the next floor. And it was just like like that's, and then like I got to the next room, and it was like I kept like kind of like doing the head bob, like dozing off thing, and I was like playing the game, and I was like running the walls and shit. And I'm like I kept I just could not focus at all that last 15-20 minutes or so. But yeah, it was fun. It was I had a lot of fun this Extra Life. It was good too, because like normally like I always talk about like I'll play like an open world game where like that's a lot of fun to me, that I can just jump into and do, like, especially if I'm in a party chat and I care about the story. Like last year, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I really care about the story, but I was in a party chat with people, so I just did a bunch of side quests and stuff. Even though I still really enjoyed the side quests, but I was like, this was a lot of fun this year, because I felt like I progressed through a lot of games. Where like I wasn't like in the like years prior, like I was playing like side quests and games, just like I'm playing games. I'm at least I'm doing something in this game that I care about, but I'm not progressing further ahead in the story and doing the things I actually really care about, the things that I would normally do, when I'm playing games by myself, not for Extra Life. And this year I felt like I was just doing the things I normally do for other than play for 24 straight hours. Like I was playing games the way I normally play games. It sucked I didn't get to do like I played a couple games of Rock League with the Talk Ship guys. I didn't get to do a party chat or anything with them, but yeah, I still had a lot of fun, and it was great. So yeah, it was good. Extra Life was a lot of fun this year. Is there anything before? We really don't have any news this week. There's been nothing the last 2 weeks. The only thing I have is NPDs, by the way.
Right.
Is anything you want to talk about, like what we've been playing game wise, before we move on to that?
Honestly, yes. There has been a couple of different games that I have been playing since Extra Life.
Okay.
One of which is a game I most recently earned my latest platinum in. So
Nice.
I platinumed Persona 5, Dancing in Starlight. I played roughly around 6.5 or so hours during Extra Life, but that was enough to prompt me to go to that game after Extra Life and started playing through a lot of the tracks and a lot of the various stuff, unlocking a lot of the social link aspects because what's funny, I kept playing the game and I didn't even bother doing like the social link stuff with it. And so I had to sit through a whole bunch of dialogue with a bunch of different characters and stuff and learn little bits here and there. Unlock modifiers, unlock challenges. And, yeah, honestly, a couple nights ago, I ended up getting the last bits and I unlocked the Platinum Trophy, so that is Platinum
Nice.
number 24. And
Wow.
the third one, I think, this year, because I've made it a... what started off is me buying a $100 game collection thing at GameStop where it was like Persona 4 Dancing All Night, and then it's like Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight, and then Dancing in Starlight, Persona 5 and stuff. What ended up me like spending $100 ended up me completing like earning the platinum for every single one of those games, and then like sheesh, oh god, getting like perfect track ratings in 2 out of the 3 games and stuff. So quintessentially, I got my money's worth and then some. Even with like a lot of the different hours, I could swear that I have at least played roughly 120, 130 hours of those dancing games combined over the span of the year. Which, you know what, I'm fairly happy with. The music is phenomenal. A lot of the rhythm-based stuff was pretty fun and like pretty addictive to go through. What's kind of funny is one of my friends who works as a barista inside of a Starbucks, she actually said that she would go through and watch me stream while I'm doing things in Extra Life, and she was watching me particularly. And she was telling this to me today, by the way, while she was making my drink, where it's like, yeah, I just, like, I was watching you play that Persona game and stuff, and I can't understand how you could actually get past, like, the 200, like, combo ratio and stuff of this. And I'm just laughing, and I'm just telling her, it's like, well, you know, I got a bit of a music background, you know, and I do this and that, and that's why I'm able to do it like this. And she's like, oh, okay. But, yeah, that's a true story, by the way. It's just kind of hilarious how that kind of turned out into itself. But I played that, and for the life of me, I started watching streams. I started watching, actually not streams, but YouTube video. But this one man that loves playing a lot of fighting games. That's Maximilian Dude, I think his name is. And so he's been going through the stint of playing through the backlog of the games featuring Terry Bogard, the most recent Smash Brothers character that was unveiled. And that subsequently has been released this past month for Smash. And so he's played through Final like Fatal Fury all the way up to around, I want to say, King of Fighters 11, King of Fighters 12, which that's fairly a lot of games, because you got 4 Fatal Fury games alongside with King of Fighters like 94 all the way up to about King of Fighters like I think 11 or 12. And so with all that watching, it prompted me to re-download King of Fighters 98 on my Switch and basically go through that entirety of that arcade mode with the Fatal Fury team of Terry Bogard, Andy Bogard, and Joe Musashi, I think his name was. But the original trio. And what preceded to me is actually relearning a lot of the combos and techniques I used to use while playing like the game initially. And it also reminded me of the times where when I'd be playing fighting games, when you get to the end where you have to face off against the boss character, and the boss character's an absolute piece of shit. His AI is a piece of shit. His counter moves and anti-air are pieces of shit. And quintessentially, what ended up being like a fairly easy playthrough of the arcade mode up until that point. I didn't really lose a lot. Like, actually, I didn't really lose, like, in general up until I got till, like, the second to the last round of that whole, like, arcade things where I lost the last team, right? Then I go to the boss character for King of Fighters 98. His name is Rugal. Now, Rugal, instead of a previous iteration, was this entrepreneur or something, right? That was just basically trying to destroy the world and all this other shit. It's a crazy story, and I could not explain it and do justice to save my life. But apparently he gets this sort of modifications and stuff to where he becomes like this sort of this some sort of like a fucking like demon or some sort of shit, right? And so he in this game is like known as like Omega Rugal or something like this. Now the thing about this man, this character in general, like I said before, his AI is pretty much bullshit. So what I'm talking about is what he does is he has attacks that'll take out at least 30% of your health bar with one hit. He has anti-air techniques to where he'll basically do this regal, like this sort of like this cutter move, right? This like regal cutter, where it's like an anti-air move similar to that of a Shoryuken in Street Fighter, only he will do that and he will actually grab you out of the air and actually toss you across the damn screen. Let's just say that I died at least good 4 or 5 times playing against him because, and this is me playing with 3 team members on like 3 against 1, mind you, and him scoring 30% damage like with each subsequential hit. Oh, that's not counting combos. No, combos, he'll take out most of your life bar if you're not careful. Especially with the freaking like chain grabbing out of the air bullshit. And what's kind of funny, all throughout that thing, I was just literally playing... I was playing this in handheld mode, right, on my Switch. Playing with the Joy-Cons. Actually doing fairly decent with the Joy-Cons. Playing a fighting game, which surprised the hell out of me. And all the while, just playing this match, I'm like, oh man, fuck you, Rugal. Like, seriously. I'm just really getting into it and stuff like that. It's like, I finally was able to beat him, not once, but twice in the span of the night. Because when I initially powered on the game, it previously had a previous save file for when I last played King of Fighters 98, and I quit on that very same fucking fight. So I ended up beating him twice. But it was just kind of hilarious that I pretty much figured out what I wanted to do in terms of like playing that game, the characters I wanted to use, figured out his AI and stuff. But yeah, I'm still in the itching mood to just try to play some more fighting games. I mean, I don't care, man. It's like I have a craving to play King of Fighters. I have craving to play Tekken. It's like I'm little by little starting to get back into the mood that I want to play some competitive fighting games and learn the intricacies and like the actual mechanics of fighting games themselves besides like Street Fighter. But the other game I played, I bought today. I bought Pokemon Sword. Despite all the stupid bullshit and all the negative shit that's been going on all the past couple weeks online with this, I decided then to myself, you know what, I'm buying this game. I'm going to enjoy the game for what it is. So I've played about an hour and a half, and so far it's a Pokemon game. It's fun. I picked up a bunch of new characters that I've never tried before. First thing I do, I started off Pokemon Sword. Pick Score Bunny, that Fire Bunny. It's the first time since Generation 3 I've actually picked a Fire Starter as my go-to. Because all the others have been Grass Starters. So for like Diamond and Pearl, Black and White, X and Y, and like hell, even for like Sun and Moon, I picked the Grass Starter throughout that entire thing. The only time I think I've ever picked like a Water Starter for a starting of a game was for like Pokemon Blue. That was technically what I used. I chose Squirtle, went all the way through that, but for this playthrough for like Sword and Shield, I decided just to pick Score Bunny because I wanted to pick the Fire Starter. I I loved his evolutions and all the other stuff, so I wanted to try that. And I've come across a couple different things. One, it feels really satisfying having that experience share being on at all times, especially when you go through and catch a bunch of different Pokemon on your team. It feels so much better doing it that way, as opposed to just having the option of turning it on or off or something like that. It still has the improvements for past games, like say Sun and Moon and Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, to where you catch a Pokemon, you earn XP, you go through and you battle a bunch of different Pokemon in the wild, every Pokemon in your party earns XP. It's quintessentially that saving grace to where you don't have to spend hours upon hours grinding specific party members by switching them to the front, or setting them up to the front, switching them out in battle in order for them to gain some bit of experience points. But I'll tell you what, the party that I have got, I've actually managed to capture enough to where I have a group of 6 now. And so what's funny, all of them, and I'm surprised with this, all of the Pokemon in the beginning area that I've encountered so far are brand new Pokemon. So I got my Score Bunny. I gave him the nickname of Usagi. Which, if you didn't realize this, Tyler, but I'm not sure if you do or not, but Usagi is actually a reference. Do you know from which one I'm referring to?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, basically, you know Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Yes, of course.
There's a character in that series called Usagi Yojimbo. Which is basically a rabbit and stuff with a freaking samurai sword and all this other shit. So I thought, oh, you know what? This sounds pretty cool. I'll just give my Score Bunny the nickname of Usagi. And so I basically have a team where I have a corgi dog, which is Yamper, a squirrel, which is called like Swovit or something like that, a little bird, which is called Rookity, and I have a fox on my team, right? This dark fox that I forget the name of, but at the same time, yeah. And then I got like this little turtle. He's called like Choodle, right? But the way he looks, he's so derpy looking, and he has like basically has a spiked head. I give him the nickname of Pinhead, so that way I can remember him better. But so far so good. It's like I've been enjoying bits and portions of the game. It's a brand new Pokemon game of a brand new generation, so I am first and foremost wanting to try the new creatures, see what happens, see what I can do. But basically, that's all I've been playing.
Nice. That's pretty much what I've been playing as well. I was during Actual Life. I did. I started Death Stranding. I played the first couple hours of that, but everything I'm hearing about that is like that game. This game's probably gonna take me a while if it clicks for me. So Star Wars came out today. I played the first hour of that as well. I'm not gonna sit there and talk about these games. Death Stranding, like literally, I played 2 hours of it, and I experienced the first 2 hours of it. I probably played a half an hour of the game. The rest was cutscenes.
That's not too noticeable then if you just encounter a bunch of cutscenes in an hour.
Yeah, and then Star Wars played the first hour or so. I want to jump more into that before I talk about it. So I gotta say, like, I'm really sad Doom has been delayed, but I'm happy because I have no time to play on these games.
No shit.
So having Doom come out, if Doom was coming out a week from now, I would be even more stressed out with these goddamn games. But yeah.
I feel your pain, man.
Yeah. So I haven't played too much more. Other than those games, I beat Luigi. I finished up Luigi's Mansion a few days later after Extra Life, and just kind of trying to game out when I can. Gables, we've gone long enough. I'm gonna save because we don't have any news. I don't want to just do a thing on MPDs.
Okay.
I think we'll save that for next week.
That sounds good.
I think this being just the Extra Life show kind of worked out for us.
Yep.
But yeah. Thank you guys for listening. If you want to hear more from us, we do have a Facebook page and group, Drunken Nerds Podcast. Like and join us on there. On Twitter at Drunken Nerds Pod. Also follow us on there. On Spotify, check us out on there, Drunken Nerds Podcast. If follow as well. If you know how to leave a review, do all those, please. iTunes, Drunken Nerds Podcast as well. Subscribe, please. Leave us a 5-star review and leave a comment on YouTube. We're at Drunk Nerds. Subscribe, like that as well. Leave a comment on those as well. On those, I'd be really appreciated if you did that. And then also, I feel like I am missing one. Gables, I am missing one. Go to Twitch at Colonel Gables. Follow him on there, please. Like you said, he did a bunch of streaming during Extra Life. The more people do that, would be great for him. But thank you. Check us out all those places. Really appreciate if you did all that. Give us a big, nice review. Leave us a thumbs up. Whatever you can do to help us out, we really appreciate. Until next time, I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, I hope you have yourself a good weekend. And I definitely hope you enjoyed a fun-filled episode of the Drunk Nerds podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.